Hey folks, Ricky aka the War Champion is back in the building, and today, folks, I want to have another discussion with you. You see, the other day we talked about the top 5 heroic stages, you know, and to my surprise, a lot of you had, many of you agreed with it. I didn't think a lot of people would agree with it, but a lot of you were on the same page with me, so that's fine. So today, I want to discuss my top 5 iron challenges that I thought were the hardest in the game. So this list wasn't hard to put together, but ranking a couple of them was a little challenging. I know a lot of you are going to have a little bit of a different opinion on it, and that's cool. Feel free to jump in the comment section and feel free to voice your opinion. I love to hear it too, hear what you guys have to say about it. You know, they make the restrictions fitting for every iron challenge, just like they do heroic challenges. That's the similarity. So let's see what I have in store. Let's chit chat for a minute, folks. So without further ado, let us commence. Yeah. All right, my top 5 iron stages. Number 5, here we go. Glacial Heights. Yeah, Glacial Heights Iron Challenge. This one, the difficulty scale, I ranked it at 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, both Flash and not Flash. The reason why I have it the same for Flash as well as all the other versions is because of the Troll Pathfinders. So it's a double whammy. The Troll Pathfinders, as I noticed on Flash, when they tend to stop on the ice, so you could use barracks towers towards the exit to cut off the Pathfinders even when they're on the ice, because they tend to get off on the when they get off their snowboard, they still happen to be on the ice path, and they're still within range of multiple barracks, so you can cut them off easily. That's why I have it ranked that way. But on Steam, it's not the case. They get off all the way off of the ice path, so it's easy to cut them off. That's why I have it ranked 8.5. Restrictions, upgrades are level 5, heroes allowed. No, by the way, this is all with respect to playing without a hero. This is factoring all versions and on veteran mode. Artillery and barracks, starting bounty 1800, 12 strategy points. Why did I feel that this one's hard? Yes, we have artillery, but these producers did a good job on this one. You can easily get overwhelmed by the hordes of troll pathfinders and trolls. Folks, you remember the part when, it's like in the beginning where the troll pathfinders they tend to get towards that exit along with the trolls. You frequently encounter that pretty often, especially with the trolls, but the pathfinders, you got to rain of fire them and figure out when to do it correctly, and you can get overwhelmed by them pretty easily. That's what makes it kind of tough, in my opinion, on this one. Especially the troll chieftain and the troll pathfinder troll chieftain troll combination, especially with that combo, also made it very, very hard, in my opinion. Even though you got artillery, and just because you have the Teslas out there like that and the paladins out there like that, as you would typically use that doesn't mean that you're going to end up beating the level just because you got the Teslas out there like that. It doesn't, they do a pretty darn good job of it. And for the last reason why I felt it was hard is because the hordes of the Winterwolf and the wargs, they really make things hard, especially towards the end, because that's when they brought them. They get in the way of the troll breaker and the troll champion. So obviously the breaker without a hero is hard to stop because you don't have any way of reducing its armor, and then it regenerates a ton of his health. So he's a problem. Plus the troll champions are another nuisance, and they hack away behind the breakers. So with those Winterwolves and wargs coming in the picture, they're annoying because they steal the spotlight with the Teslas and the artillery. Whatever artillery you're using, they steal the spotlight and take the damage instead of the breakers and the champions. That's why I felt this one was kind of hard for that reason. So here's some clips right here, folks. No, never mind. I'm sorry. The clips will come after. Here's just the super wave. This just shows you the wave composition. So the ice cave, out the cave, it was 130 trolls total, 12 troll pathfinders, 3 troll chieftains, 6 trolls. 6 troll champions, 3 troll breakers, 40 wolf, and 90 wargs. All came out the cave. On the ice path, 55 trolls, 16 troll pathfinders, 2 troll chieftain, 39 winter wolf. And the total bounty was 9,210. That's very impressive and very easy to use and set up a lot of bounty, because those trolls and winter wolves and pathfinders, they give off a lot of bounty. So that's to your benefit. But it's still, being flawless without a hero is hard. It's definitely pretty challenging. So let's see some clips, folks. Yeah, so this is an example of getting overwhelmed. You see, it's made to be this way. Like, the producers made it to be this way. The Pathfinders and trolls are for sure going to get down there like that. So you got to yak from the skies typically. to decimate them. Yeah, this is on Flash, by the way. And then, yeah, here we go. This is an example of the troll chimp. Yeah, the troll chieftains and the troll and the trolls. Yeah, you see, you can get overwhelmed by that, and they're regenerating the health. That troll chieftain is a problem for sure on this one. Now, I didn't say troll chieftain, troll breaker, because the chieftain never gets in radius with them based on how things turn out. This is an example of the wargs getting in the way and the winter wolves. They're just annoying. They really, this is how he played wisely, but it makes it hard. Like right there, that's really what makes it hard, is those winter wolves, and especially those wargs too. Yeah, you see, they take away the aim of the towers. It's just tough. But that was number 5 on my list, folks. That was number 5. Number 4 on my list, ROTWICK. Yeah, some of you probably, well, I don't know. This one, I kind of felt time, maybe Glacial Heights, but ROTWICK for sure, I had to rank it ahead of it, because this difficulty scale 8.5 out of 10. You're only restricted to archers and mage towers only. The starting bounty is the problem. You only have 500 bounty. This is an elite stage. Yeah, ROTWICK's not hard, but it's an elite stage, 14 strategy points. And of course, it's hard because I mean, think about it, folks, 500 bounty. Pretty much the wisest thing to do, typically, that most people would do is, that choke point. I mean, basically that strategy point near those graveyards, you would typically set up a level 3 tier mage tower. That's typical. But, they're bringing wargs, skeleton warriors, and skeletons. So it's hard to hold that off. It's hard to use the bounty that you're given to efficiently kill off all of those enemies like that. So with that being said, that's what makes it very tough, is that you have that low bounty to play with. And it's ridiculous. It's like, oh man. And you got to stop those wargs in the beginning. And the skeleton knights is pretty straightforward what you got to do, but you got to be smart to kill off the wargs. Especially in the beginning. One thing I don't like about this iron stage is that luckiness tends to matter with the Rain of Fire. That's definitely true, because you see, it's that part when those skeleton, it's a part where after you Rain of Fire the first time, when you clutter together those skeleton knights and the wargs, that's when you would Rain of Fire the first time. The second time is when those skeleton knights and skeletons will back you into a corner. So typically you would Rain of Fire that, because that's meant to happen. That's just how the producers have got the level set up like that. So you would Rain of Fire them, but what I don't like is that you have to rely on the luck of that meteorite, the meteors to strike in those other random spots. You need them to hit the skeletons specifically, because the skeletons will trail behind the skeleton warriors. The skeleton warriors are going to get down there near the exit. They're just going to get down there like that. But the skeletons will travel behind, but you got to rely on the luck of the meteors to hit them. And that's what I don't like about this level. It's that luckiness. And then if you do get lucky, then that means you will have only the wargs to deal with, hold them off with the reinforcements. But if you're unlucky, then you might still have those skeletons remaining, and then you also got to hold off the wargs. And then that's what made it kind of hard on this one, is that luck of the Rain of Fire. I definitely don't like it because of it, and that's another reason why this one was hard. But for some reason, I don't know if it's coded or something, but the Rain of Fire tends to hit consistently those hordes of skeletons and then clear the path for the wargs. It tends to do it, but sometimes it won't. So yeah. And then of course you got to be smart with the reinforcements, especially early on with the wargs coming. You got to be smart positioning the reinforcements to hack away at the wargs. That's crucial. You really have to do that, especially without a hero. But yeah, those are the reasons why I felt this was hard. Let's see the wave composition, not the clips, yeah, but the wave composition. Let's see that. All right. So top left, they brought 59 war, 5 skeletons. Bottom left, they brought 21 skeleton knight, 5 skeleton. At the bottom, not the bottom left, but the bottom, 18 skeleton knight, 30 skeleton at the grave house, 41 skeleton, for a total of 1,232 bounty. Folks, that is very ridiculously low. I mean, look at that, 1,232. But for a level like that, skeleton warriors, skeleton knights, that's all. I mean, that's what they feel that's what it's going to take. So let's see some clips now. Yeah, the reason I don't think this is number 1 is because after playing it several times, it is tough. But yeah, this is an example of being smart with the reinforcements, just positioning them correctly to hack. This is the part I don't like. You got to yak from the skies, folks. All of those enemies are getting down there. Yeah, you see, I got a little lucky there. That luckiness of hitting those skeletons Yeah, I got lucky there. And then the wargs are fast. They're going to run over that residue. See, yeah, so that, yeah, I got lucky. And then here, this, yeah, right there, I see, again, the rain, oh, folks, I almost had the war go Sinar, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. The rain of fire got him. But it goes to show it's not that bad, because as you can see here, as you see in this film, it only took 2 mage towers. 2 mage, I mean, it's really not that bad like that. But I mean, if I had enough bounty to set up a mage towers elsewhere and archers elsewhere, but that, there goes to show it wasn't really all that bad like that, but it is challenging for sure, challenging. Number 3. Now this one was tough for me to decide on, folks. I'm serious, and if you disagree, that's completely fine. You might be saying this should be number 2, possibly number 1, but I think number 1, you guys know what that is. But I felt Fungal Forest was number 3. Difficulty scale is a 9 out of 10. Yeah, upgrades 5, heroes allowed, but again, this would expect no heroes. Barracks and mages only are allowed. You do start off with 30,500 bounty. That's very impressive. In fact, that ties with Pandemonium Iron with 3,500 bounty there. 15 strategy points. You do, however, have 3 elves towers. Some of you may or may not like where those elf towers are at. They happen to all be down near that exit, but that's where they have them at. And, you know, they're very reliable in battle, but they're also fragile. It's a catch-22 using those things. So, you know, if they die and you get those husks, it just is annoying. It's hard because it's a highly barrack restricted level. You got 2 acid pools. So depending on where units die at on the map, if they die at the high part of the map, then at the highest, the top acid pool, they'll spawn at the lower part of the map, they'll spawn at that lower acid pool. But it's a highly barrack restricted level. That's a problem when you have barracks as one of your only options to play with on this stage. That's a problem. And also the mage towers, you might exploit using the earth elemental. You got to keep an eye on that, and then possibly if it dies, you get a swamp thing. That's happened quite a few times to me. Definitely challenging for that. Difficult and tricky trying to stop the rot shrooms and the nauseous creepers. That's true, folks. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know that too. That's especially the creepers and the rot shrooms. Okay, so the first part is not that bad. You know what to do. You rain a fire. They bring like 9 rot shrooms all bundled up. You know what to do. You attack those rot shrooms, and it's not that bad figuring that out. But it's tough when they start bringing the rot shrooms from the sides on the east and west, because they come single file line, but they all happen to they can overwhelm you easily because they bring a horde of them. So you got to be smart. If you're going to use elves, you got to keep an eye on your elves, but at the same time you can get overwhelmed with those rot shrooms because they come and they really come. You know, they're pretty tanky. And the creepers, I don't even have to go there with you. You know what to do. But folks, that's one of the reasons why I didn't think this was that bad, because there is an efficient way to deal with those creepers. Trust me on that. And you're going to see some clips of it too. There's an efficient way to deal with those creepers, but it's just the fact that nauseous creepers are hard to stop on this one. They bring only 6 of them, but they are very problematic, and I believe they're a good reason why you would restart this level. Packs of tainted treants also tend to reach near the exit at the main choke point. That enemy is a problem too, because sometimes you might be figuring out, oh yeah, I got the strategy down, I know how to deal with these rot shrooms, but then the next thing you know, you got these tainted treants. You might figure out in the beginning, okay, I deal with the rot shrooms and the nauseous creepers, but then you forget that you need mages set up to deal with those treants, and they're durable like that. They're very durable. They start bringing packs of 4 of them, and then it starts becoming a problem because, you know, the mages attack slowly, but they can't kill off those treants fast enough. So they're for sure going to figure out a way to get down there. The game producers made it to where if you don't deal with them effectively or efficiently, they're going to figure out a way to get down there. With the bounty that you had set up, sometimes it's kind of hard to position the mage towers effectively to kill them off. So that they are a problem. They definitely are a problem. They force quite a few restarts for me as well. So when you're playing this, also another reason is to be very thrifty with the bounty, because obviously I believe it's possible to do. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it is possible to. I believe it's possible to kill him without insta killing. But of course, we're talking about swamp things. You got 9 swamp things coming. You know what you got to do with that. You got to get that out of the photo and not play the games with it, folks. So when you're playing, a good player is going to keep in the back of their mind, they got to be smart with the bounty, so they got to utilize it for insta killing and specifically for the swamp things, because you know you got to get rid of that. because you don't want to be messing around with that and then still have to put up. Eventually, they're going to bring the house with the rot shrooms, so you know what to do with that. There's rain of fire on them. It's not hard to figure that out, but those swamp things, you got to get rid of that. And also, lastly, it was hard because you have to keep an eye on all the action in multiple parts of the battlefield. That, to me, is a big reason why this was hard, because that part when after you, let's say after you're done with those, well, even in the beginning, when you get through that first rot shroom wave, you got those creepers in those tainted trees. You got to keep an eye on that. You have to pay attention to the treants and also to the nauseous creepers. But also, if you get past the nauseous creepers, you also got to figure out a way to deal with those rot shrooms and then the packs of tainted treants that are coming in pairs of 4. So it's tough to keep an eye on what's going on, because you got barracks you're using, and then you possibly could be using an earth elemental. So you got to keep an eye on the earth elemental because you don't want to have a swamp thing, but you also got to keep an eye on the barracks because you don't want a bunch of husks to overwhelm you. And then you also got to keep an eye on your elves because they're very fragile. They die so easily. So it's so much you got to keep an eye on. And for that reason, for sure, this one is a top 5, no doubt about it. But let's see the wave composition. Yeah, let's see the wave composition. Okay, so yeah, so the entrance on the left, 44 rot shrooms came at the top, 67 rot shroom, 19 tainted treants, 6 nauseous creepers, 9 swamp things. So the swamp things, I don't remember how many of them go different directions, but I believe the swamp things all go on left and right. So like I think 4 go on the left, 5 go on the right. They take the right path. And then the entrance on the right, 20 rot shrooms came for a grand total of 5,800 bounty. Not much, but you started off with 3,500 bounty. So for a grand total of 9,300 bounty. So it's pretty impressive for this wave. But let's see some clips, folks. So this is the pack of the rot. You know what to do with that. You yak from the skies. You don't play with the rot shrooms, folks. You get it out the photo. But this is what I mean about they're troublesome, because you got those L's down there, and those L's are so fragile. You don't want to lose the L's because you invested money in them. But then, folks, you see that creeper up there. That's what I mean. There's an efficient way to deal with the creeper. You pack them out with the paladins. That's what I learned, and that's why I kind of changed my thought process on this way. But you see, the rot shrooms are tough to deal with. You're all the way down by that exit, and they're tough to stop. You got all these husks coming as a result of them, those spores being emitted. And then now you see all the you know what to do with the creepers, folks. We pack them out and we're decimating. We're not playing with the creepers. That's an efficient way to deal with the creepers. That changed my views on why I felt this wasn't that bad like that. You get rid of the creepers efficiently like that so you can deal with these rot shrooms. But this is another example of the rot shrooms being troublesome and you having to keep an eye on everything, because you see that elemental is taking damage from the poisonous shrooms, but you got to keep an eye on those elves too. You see, yeah, I got a bob and weave. I see, I died, right? I'm sorry, my elf died. I got to keep an eye on the rot shrooms. That's what I'm talking about. So then, so that's an example of being vigilant. You got to be real vigilant. Folks, you know what to do with the thingies. You delete the thingy, and if you can't delete the thingy, what do? You sheep the thingy. You're going to sheep the swamp thing and get it out of the building, folks. That is that simple. That's a good player is going to play with that in the back of their mind. It's that simple. We delete and sheep the thingy. So that, for those reasons, that's why I had that, it wasn't that bad. That led to me, Fungal Forest starts off hard, but then it sort of plateaus when the swamp things come out, because you know what you got to do to that. It's just executing throughout the beginning is kind of difficult. It's difficult, but after looking at it, it wasn't too bad, but it is challenging to execute. So with that being said, what's number 2? What's number 2? So number 2 on my list, I have the difficulty ranked the same, but I edged it to Rotten Forest, folks. I had to do it. It was tough. Trust me. I was back and forth with this one and Fungal Forest, but I edged it to Rotten Forest. Same restrictions. Barracks and Mage Towers only allowed. However, you start off with only 800 bounty. That's not much. 17 strategy points. And why is it hard? Obviously, it's a barrack restricted level. For a level like this, you probably won't want to use barracks anyway, but with the enemies that come, you definitely would like to use barracks to hold them and then attack them. Because you got, for another good reason, you have the least efficient towers to deal with the demon type enemies. That is a problem. Of course, the exception is the demon imp, but you got the demon lord, the demon spawn, and that darn demon hound. It's tough for that reason, folks. The demon spawns, even in the beginning, are pretty tough tricky to stop, because that leads me to my next next reason why it's hard. Hordes of armored enemies and magic resistant enemies, those demon type enemies, will mix together very, very frequently. You got hordes of husks coming, and then the demon spawns come. So it's like, oh, I want to use the mages to mess up those tainted treants and the husks, because the tainted treants are going to get in the midst of those demon spawns. But then you got a problem. The demon spawns come there, so then the mages might be hitting them, but then you want to get rid of the husk or the tainted treant. It's frustrating at times. It's just so frustrating. So you have to, that's what makes this one very tough to me, in my opinion. For sure. It's just bad. Also, it's very consistent. You're going to be clinching hordes of enemies at the main choke point. I don't see why you would have barracks anywhere else except for near the exit or near the choke point. It just doesn't make any sense to me to have them anywhere else, folks. So all the action for sure is going to happen down at that choke point, and you know they bring that house with the husks, the demon spawns, the demon hounds, and the tainted treants, and eventually the swamp thingies. They bring the house with them. So you're always going to be having action happen down there, and because of the fact that you probably would use barracks, you run the risk of losing them and then potentially getting husked, and then enemies can just get through because you have those slow attacking mages to do the dirty work for you. But you have to, they attack hordes of these enemies, and they attack slowly. It's hard and very tough to put up with all that at a choke point. Of course, folks, how could we ever forget the demon hounds? They live up to how annoying they truly are on this iron stage. They say they're annoying, they really are very, very hard to stop and are very outright annoying, especially on this one, because they come in packs and they send hordes of them. Like, I don't know how frequent. I think it's like every 8, 10, or 12 seconds. Like, it's a part after when you stop the demon imps, they bring the house with the hounds, and they keep bringing them back and forth over and over and over again, and it's frustrating. They really cause a lot of problems on this one, especially. They come in packs, so it's tough to stop them. And then, of course, you can't forget that you know you're playing Rotten Forest. You know that Swamp Thing's going to be making its pro debut, so you got to play with the back of your mind to efficiently. It really helps to insta-kill the Swamp Thing. It really does. I mean, because you're going to consistently get hordes of husks coming and hordes of demon hounds coming, because the Swamp Things appear when the demon hounds are still appearing, are still coming in packs. So I have learned that it is more efficient to use the polymorph than it is to use the Arcane's Zapper, because the polymorph obviously is, as I learned, it ignores the husk. So it will only hit the every other enemy except for the husk. But however, you got a problem. The demon hounds could intercept that polymorph, so you might not be able to kill off that Swamp Thing, and that's a big deal. And then, of course, it's even less efficient, in my opinion, to use the Arcane, unless you happen to figure out a way to clear the path of the husk and the demon hounds, so you can time it correctly and insta kill the Swamp Thing. But it's more efficient, in my opinion, to play with the polymorph. But for all those reasons, folks, I edged it to Rotten Forest, because unlike Fungal Forest, this one was a lot longer. This challenge was a lot longer, so you had to be constantly holding and dealing with all of these enemies and all of these troublesome, playing for all these troublesome reasons. You have to fight all of this off, and it lasts so long, and it gets progressively harder. You see, it gets progressively harder because they start bringing the house with the demons, with the demon hounds. The demon lords will come later, and then you got the tainted treants appearing. So it got progressively harder. That's why I edged it to Rotten Forest, because Fungal Forest was quick. It didn't take that much to figure out what you needed to do, but I edged it to Rotten Forest for the right reason, folks. So that's my take on that. That's what I had it ranked. It definitely was tough. So let's see the wave composition. So there you have it. The entrance at the top left is the same at the bottom right. 103 husk for a total of 206. 27 tainted treant, total 54. 2 Swamp Things, 4 total Swamp Things. Yeah, but again, the Swamp Things are a problem. Because they appear in those hordes of enemies. That's bad. It's just bad. The entrance out of the portal, 16 demon imp. Yeah, they did bring demon imps, but they weren't the big ooey like that. 66 demon spawns. They were a problem early on. The demon hound, 48 demon hounds. Yeah, problem, big time. 3 demon lords. They were a problem when they got down there for sure towards the end, but by then you should have towers set up efficiently to handle that, but they are a problem. So that's the wave composition, folks. So let's see some clips. So this is an example. The hordes of magic resistant enemies, yeah, getting in the midst of the tainted treants. That's what I'm showing here. That's an example there. There's other ones, but I really wanted to emphasize, you know, the example of the powerful tainted treants getting in the midst of those demon spawns. And then now here is an example of the demon hounds, folks. They're just, look at that. You got all these husks out here, and then you got to deal with all these demon hounds coming out here. It's just annoying. Look at that. And you run the risk of the paladins intercepting other enemies aside from the demon hounds. So it's smart to spam a lot of mage towers, as I've learned that. That's a strategy that I've learned over time. And then even good players like MMLH have mentioned that as well. See, so this is what I'm talking about here with the demon hounds. They come down here with the swamp things. You see that? And you still got the husk, but you see how, yeah, this is just an example. You got to insta-kill the swamp thing. Now I played this back then, but I wasn't playing efficiently like I should have. Okay. But yeah, that was an example of what I was talking about. Just saying, emphasizing the importance of having that insta kill to deal with those swamp things. That's what I meant. And then you still had those demon hounds getting down there. But for all the reason you saw where all the action was happening, I was at that choke point. So I had that at number 2. So number 1, without a doubt, I am very sure that most people would agree. Number 1, hands down, folks, hands down, Night Fang Swell. Night Fang Swell. I without a doubt, I'm very sure everyone would agree this one is the hardest, and without a doubt. Difficulty scale, yes, 10 out of 10. So 10 out of 10. Especially, yeah, without a hero, 10 out of 10. Artillery and maze towers are only allowed on this one. Bounty is 1,500. Strategy points, 14. Folks, why is it hard? The lichen. Folks, the lichen. I don't even need to say anything else, but yeah, I will. I know the wargs appear, but folks, the lichens, like they are freaking a nightmare on this. I'm even with the hero, they're a nightmare, but without a hero, folks, they are a freaking nightmare. Like they're for many years, nearly a decade, mobile app players. Now, this was beaten without a hero before, but it's done under less harsh conditions because the lichen speed attribute on Steam was not fast. But on the mobile app, the speed of the lichens were fast. So recently, when the producers upgraded Steam, they upgraded the speed of the lichens, the attribute of the lichen speed. So now they were fast. Playing this without a hero to deal with those lichens, oh, it was freaking hard. They get in out of range of those towers. They freaking decimate like crazy. They're a nightmare, folks. I'm serious. Oh my gosh. They're powerful. They're hard to stop. They are atrocious. They are so atrocious. I know the wargs appear, but they get decimated by the artillery, specifically the Tesla, but they are a nightmare. Really, really, really bad to put up with, as if you guys don't even know. Another reason why it was hard, you cannot afford to misuse the Rain of Fire. You have to use that Rain of Fire efficiently, folks, and use it at the right time. It's easy to panic, and I understand it because the lichens are fast and powerful. So when you see lichens, you're like, oh my gosh, man, maybe I'm using the elemental, or my hero, I'm using the hero. Maybe if you're playing with a hero that dies, oh, let me Rain of Fire. But then next thing you know, they bring like 3 lichens out of nowhere, 5 lichens out of nowhere, and then you make the mistake. You don't have the Rain of Fire in your arsenal anymore, and then you make that mistake because a hero or something died, and you don't have an efficient way to kill off those lichens. So you have to use the Rain of Fire at the right time. It is an absolute must. It just really is. It's that type of party. Very important to be wise positioning the reinforcements and placing them near the action, and just overall being efficient. Even with a hero, you'd have to be efficient, but without a hero on this one, folks, it so matters. And what I mean by efficient is like keeping them away from the combat, but at the same time, like, you have reinforcements on the field. So what do? You got to set reinforcements behind the ones that are already on the field. So that way, when the reinforcements that are about to leave the battlefield, because their recharge period time is about to be up, you can have reinforcements already about to handle combat in case one of the they have to step up on a warg or lichen. You don't want to put a new pair of reinforcements in front of the ones that are existing. That's what I mean about being wise. You got to be smart doing that. If you make that mistake, folks, it's curtains. You can't put them near their action, because if you put them near their action and they step up on the lichen, the main thing you want them to do is throw the spears. If they step up on the action, it is curtains. It's bad. They're going to get decimated by the lichens. It's that simple. And it is very important, very, very important, extremely crucial to upgrade the elementals at the right time. You have to pay attention to the elementals' health. It's so important, because that's going to help you hold off the lichens. But if they die, folks, it's curtains. And if you think that the lichen kills off, oh, I can get away with it because the lichen killed off the elemental, and I can use the reinforcement to make up for it, think again, folks. If you are thinking that, your mind has drifted into La-Di-Da land. That is a folklore, that is mythicals and dragon talk you're talking there, because that is just not going to happen, folks. They're going to get creamed. They're going to get decimated by the lichens, and they're going to be out of the building. It's going to be a sob story, and it's going to be anger and frustration, and the neighbors next door are going to hear you, and they're going to hear how upset you are, because those lichens are going to go sayonara, and you are going to be mad, folks. It's just that simple. Because yeah, it's just that type of art. You got to pay attention to those elementals. It's crucial. Very, very crucial. But, you know, after, you know, doing this without a hero, and, you know, finally being able to prove to the mobile app community that it is doable, finally show them a video that it is doable, that you can do it without a hero, I had to ponder about it. And then after thinking about it, for sure, for all these reasons, folks, I have really came to understanding this is the main reasons that makes this a top, the top #1 on my list, and I'm pretty sure on your list. But anyway, without further ado, let's see the action. Let's see what happened. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Here's the wave composition. So 10 lichen on the left, 10 lichen in the human form, 20 lichen in the werewolf form, 15 warg, 12 lichen in the human form out of the mire, 64 warg came out the right, top right, 3 lichen in the human form, 3 lichen in the werewolf form, bottom right, 58 warg, 6 lichen in the human form, 2 lichen in the werewolf form, for a grand total of 5,284 bounty. So that's the wave composition. Here's what happened. Here's what happened when we played. So yeah, this is what you're dealing with the lichen. Look at that. They just don't die. They messed up your elemental. It's just bad. Okay, here's the wave. You got to be smart with the rain of fire. We know 5 lichens are coming, so you know what we're doing? We're compelling the lichens, folks. We're getting rid of that. We're not putting up with the lichens, folks. And the wargs either. They're going to get a taste of that too. Yes, sir. We get all of that. That's what I mean. We position the reinforcements away from the combat all times. And then here's the house when this is towards the end. They brought the house with all the lichens. So we're going to rain of fire, folks. That's the part. It felt so good to do that, folks. I cannot tell you how joyful I was when I was able to do that. But that felt so good. There goes the lichen. He's still in range of the Tesla. I put the reinforcement there to hold that off. And that's how it was done, folks. That's how it was done. Yeah, and then the lichens, at that point, they had no chance there. But that was it there. That was it. Yeah, there we go. So that concluded it, folks. That was my top 5 Iron Stage list in that order: Glacial Heights, ROTWICK, Fungal Forest, Rotten Forest, and Night Fang Swell. So there you have it, folks. I'm curious to hear about your list. I feel confident that you guys might have a very similar list, maybe a different one, but feel free to get in that comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I like to interact with you like that. So thanks for watching, folks. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. That concluded this vid. Stay tuned for more vids, folks. Ricky, aka the War Champion. Farewell.